Welcome into College Football Now. I am Harrison Graham. Taking a look at the Ohio State 2020 recruiting class. Ryan Day in his first year has done an excellent job, both with this year's Buckeyes team and on the recruiting trail as well. We'll break down these specific players in just a moment, but 25 players committed, 2 5-stars, 14 3-stars, 9 3-stars. Lots of talent heading to Columbus for the 2020 season. Guys, you know what to do. When I say OH, you know what to do in the comments. You know what to do. I don't need to tell you guys. OH, it's a universal term. You guys know what to do in the comments. I expect you guys to show up in a major way. At least, I don't know, let's shoot for 300 of you guys responding to that. So I expect to see big numbers in the comments section. Let's get to these recruits. The number 2 overall player in America, number 1 receiver Julian Fleming, the 5-star wide receiver for Ryan Day out of Carwissa, Pennsylvania. Our very own Mitchell Renz knows where that's from. No one else does. Look, this guy is going to be very special. Wide receiver U is what Ohio State is becoming. Tons of wide receivers in this class to break down for you guys. Number 2 overall player in the country, number 1 receiver. I would expect for him to have a major role from day one in Columbus. Next player here, we got Paris Johnson Jr., the offensive tackle, 5-star player, number 7 overall player in the country out of Cincinnati. This kid's put on 90 pounds since his freshman year of high school. 6'7", 290 pounds. He was just 200 pounds when he was 14 years old. He's put on a ton of weight with still some room to grow. He's got all the technique, needs to build a little bit more upper body strength. This guy will be playing on Sundays in a few years. He's going to be a good one for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mentioned wide receivers. Got another one coming out of Rockwall, Texas. It's Jaxon Smith-Njigba. He is incredible, folks. I've watched him play a few different times in high school, as we're not too far from Rockwall here in Dallas, Texas at Chat Sports. 4-star receiver, number 33 overall player. This guy basically shattered every Texas high school football record for the wide receiver position. He had 6 touchdowns in a playoff game like 3 weeks ago. They finally were eliminated on Saturday, but an incredible high school career. Another player Texas missed on. Ohio State is able to reel him in. Doesn't have top end speed, but his route running's incredible. He catches really well in traffic. He high points the football. He plays with an attitude that you like to see at the wide receiver position. Great hands. He can really do it all. Smith-Njigba and Julian Fleming, 2 excellent receivers for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He played some Wildcat in high school, as you guys can see on the screen. One of the best players from a productivity standpoint in high school football history. Clark Phillips III, the 4-star cornerback, top 50 player coming in for Ryan Day. You Buckeyes fans should be excited about this one. I mentioned their wide receiver U. They might be cornerback U as well. Tons of NFL DBs coming out of Ohio State these days. Clark Phillips III might be the next one in line. Kid out of California, 5'10 and a half, 178. Not a super lanky guy, but he plays with a physicality, lots of attitude, top 50 player. Really good technique, and that's what you have to have when you are undersized. He's going to be an excellent player for the Buckeyes. G. Scott Jr., how about this? Guess what? Another wide receiver, number 62 overall player is Scott Jr., number 3 wide receiver in this class for Ohio State. I don't know how all these receivers are going to play, guys. He's from Washington, number 12 wide receiver in the class. So the Buckeyes reel in 3 of the top 12 receivers in the country. I'll say this, all these wide receivers can do different things. 6'2", 207, really good red zone threat, physical player on the outside. He's more of that mid-range receiver type. Lots of crossing routes, out routes, 15-yard type of patterns. Can take the top off of the defense, but that's not really his game. I would expect a lot of crossing patterns and one-on-one stuff on the outside with G. Scott once he gets onto campus. Okay, let's take a look at the top 5 recruiting classes as we sit just 2 days away from early National Signing Day this Wednesday. Clemson and Alabama have been going kind of back and forth the last several days as Clemson is back on top. LSU at number 3, Ohio State just behind LSU at number 4, then of course Texas A&M a distant 5th there. Top 4 all within striking distance of one another. So Ohio State trying to make a push to get that number 1 class. Don't think they're quite going to get there, but Ryan Day has certainly done an incredible job. It's not just in recruiting either, guys. I watched this team a lot this year. I know you guys did too, Buckeye fans. Predict the score in the college football playoff semifinal. They'll be playing Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Clemson. You might get hit with a YouTube ad break right here. If you do, just scroll down. It'll be the pinned comment for you guys and reply to it. What do you think the score will be? Predict the score between Ohio State and Clemson in the college football playoff. Okay, next up here, we got Lathan Ransom, the 4-star safety out of Tucson, Arizona. What impresses me most about Ohio State is they recruit all over the country. They recruit in Texas. They recruit on the West Coast. They found this kid out of Arizona. Really hard hitter. Doesn't have great speed, so I think he's more of a box safety type, but he's a hard hitter. Maybe he converts to a linebacker at some point. Can play in the nickel as well. I think he's a great run-defending safety there. I think he'll be a good one for Ohio State. Mookie Cooper, another wide receiver. 4 of the top 7 players in Ohio State's class are wide receivers. And again, I mentioned they all do different things. Cooper's 5'8", 190. Think Curtis Samuel, Ohio State fans. That is what you're getting here out of Mookie Cooper. Number 82 overall player out of St. Louis, Missouri. Number 15 wide receiver. All these wide receivers do different things, and that's why they are going to be successful in Ohio State's offense. As you see on your screen, some of the things he can do. He can catch well. He's really active. Played some quarterback in high school as well. He's a physical player as well for being 5'8", 190. He's not afraid of contact, but he breaks through tackles, bounces off really well. They lined him up all over the place in high school. He was obviously their best player, has really good speed. He's more quick than he is fast, but once he gets out in space, he is electric in the open field. He's going to be a Paris Campbell, Curtis Samuel type of player for Ohio State and Ryan Day. Next up here, you got Luke Wypler, the center, the 4-star. Another top 100 player here out of New Jersey coming in for Ohio State. He probably needs to put on 15, 20 pounds, a little undersized. He could be a redshirt candidate for Ryan Day. We got Cody Simon, the 4-star linebacker, 123rd ranked overall player, 4-star linebacker. Great speed, was clocked in the 4.5 range recently, can cover tons of ground, really good coverage back. Needs to probably put a little bit of weight on. He's about 215, 220 right now, but you put 10 or 15 pounds on this kid, he's going to be a great linebacker in the Big Ten. Very similar things you could say about Kourt Williams. He's also in that 215 to 220 range. Both these guys can really run sideline to sideline. They can cover guys. These guys will be able to cover tight ends for Ohio State. They got enough speed to play very well on the back end. Like Cody Simon, Kourt Williams needs to put on a little bit of weight. He played at St. John Bosco, one of the famous high schools for high school football in America. Top 160 player right there, on 11th ranked outside linebacker. Put 20 pounds on this kid, he will be good to go. Now, Ohio State fans, if you're like me and you're a last-minute Christmas shopper, well, it's not too late to get some Ohio State gear for you guys. Look at that hoodie, 30% off at just $31.49. Chatsports.com/OSU sale is the link to go there. Now, when you check out, you got to make sure you pick the proper shipping method, and then Fanatics says you will get your gear by Christmas Eve. So chatsports.com/OSU sale for Ohio State hoodies. We got hats up to 40% off right now. This hat is only $13.19 right now. That is a steal. Go take advantage of that today. Then the quarter zip hoodie, of course, at 50% off right now. Chatsports.com/OSU sale. Use the proper shipping method. If you order today, you will get it before Christmas, and you can wrap those Christmas presents under the tree. Get some gear for the college football playoff that takes place just a few days after Christmas for Ohio State. Let's get the recruiting class going. The Buckeyes 2020 class, number 4 in the rankings right now. Jacolbe Cowan right now, the 4-star defensive tackle. Only 265 or so right now. Needs to put on 20, 25 pounds. You guys got to remember, these are 18-year-olds, so they're going to put on weight. He could be a redshirt candidate there. Get him up to 290, 295. He'll be just fine. Get him start eating those double cheeseburgers up there in Columbus. He will be ready to go. Darrion Henry, he is more. He's got more of that prototypical size already. He's in that 275 range. Probably needs to put on a little weight, not as much as Cowan. Both these guys, good athletes for their size. Henry actually played on the outside some in high school. I think he'll slide inside and play primarily defensive tackle in the Big Ten for Ohio State. Ryan Watts, the 4-star cornerback, number 258 All-player. He's got great size, 6'2", 205. Now, he's not a great tackler for his size, but he's really, really good in coverage. He jabs well at the line of scrimmage. Tough to get separation against this guy because he's physical in coverage, likes to play man coverage, press coverage, all of that stuff. He's got to get better against the run and tackle guys in space. That is the one weakness to his game, but he's got the size that you want. He's got the speed. He's got the technique. Just needs to get a little bit better in terms of tackling in space. Next up here, this guy, I had to double verify this, double check this. By the way, you pronounce his name Lejond Cavazon. First name Lejond. Don't get confused by the spelling there. You know he's going to be big time. He got clocked running a 4.240. 44-inch vertical this kid has. I think he's listed as a safety. He played all over the place in high school. Hell, I'd like to put this guy on offense, get the ball in his hands in space, but he's going to be able to cover a ton of ground in the back end for Ohio State. I'm excited to watch this kid play. 4.240, are you kidding me? No player at the NFL Combine has ever clocked better than that. That is incredible speed. He's going to be a fun player to watch for sure. Jack Miller, first quarterback we talk about here today, the 4-star pro-style quarterback coming out of Scottsdale, Arizona. They got a recruiting pipeline of quarterbacks coming out of Scottsdale. It seems like there's a big-time one every year. Top 300 player. Again, doesn't really run much, which is typically what you see out of Ohio State quarterbacks, but we saw just a couple of years ago, Dwayne Haskins was, unless you're Stephen A. Smith, a pocket passer and could sling it all over the place. So if you can throw the ball extremely well, extremely accurately, like Jack Miller has an incredible deep ball and can throw the ball down the field with accuracy, hits guys in stride, can rip the ball on crossing routes and out routes, he's going to fit in just fine if he has that supreme accuracy that shows up on tape. Otherwise, could be a transfer candidate down the road if he's not supreme in that area, but I think he will be just fine in this system under Ryan Day. Excellent quarterback out of Scottsdale. Jack Miller can make all of the throws. Next up here, we got a 4-star athlete, Cameron Martinez. He actually played a little quarterback in high school, but don't think that's going to be the case here. Going to play receiver or safety. That's the chatter right now. I think he'll play one of those two positions for Ohio State. Good speed. He can tackle well. Played a little bit of defense in high school as well. So if he plays safety, he'll be fine in that regard. I bet he will play defense just because Ohio State has so many receivers in this class, but we will see where Cameron Martinez ends up playing. Before we get to our next player here, let's talk about Ohio State's class rankings across the board. They come in number 4 in the composite rankings, which is the combination of ESPN, Rivals, and 24/7 Sports. ESPN has them as the number 2 class, has Ohio State as the number 2 class. Rivals has Ohio State at number 4, and 24/7 Sports has the Buckeyes as the number 3 class in the country. In the composite, again, Ohio State sits at number 4 behind just Clemson, Alabama, and LSU. Quick question for you guys. Will Jim Harbaugh ever beat Ohio State? I'm hearing in my ear I might have a 5 a.m. meeting coming up soon, but I think it's a pretty legitimate question. Type Y for yes, type LOL for no. We know it's probably never going to happen. Let me know, Buckeye fans, will Jim Harbaugh ever beat Ohio State? And now, if you want more Ohio State videos starting in 2020, you got to subscribe. It's simple, guys. More subscribers from this video equals more Ohio State videos. The Buckeyes in the college football playoff. You guys want more videos, right? We want to make them. Got to justify it. Got to subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Hit that big red button. We'll have a lot of college football playoff coverage coming up. So you got to subscribe to the channel. If you want more Ohio State videos, go ahead and hit that big red button today. Next player here, we got Joe Royer, the 3-star tight end, number 406 player. Pretty good athlete, runs in the 4.7, 4.8 range, good red zone target. Here's the thing, can't block worth a lick. That's going to take a learning curve, but has some ability as a pass catcher. I think he will be an interesting piece for Ryan Day to use in this offense. Next up, got Josh Fryer, the 3-star offensive guard, number 428 overall player. Still a little bit raw in terms of technique. That's why he's down as a 3-star. Pretty good size, but needs a redshirt year, in my opinion, as does Grant Toutant, that is also a 3-star offensive lineman, 464th overall player. Both these guys kind of raw in the technique area, need to put on a little bit of weight. They will be good to go in the next couple of seasons. 3-star linebacker, Mitchell Melton. I'm excited about this guy's potential in on Ohio State's defense. He's got a really good upside. His motor is inconsistent at times. I think he's got attitude concerns, potentially. That's the chatter going around this kid. That's why he's ranked a little bit lower, but he's got the size, 6'3", 235, kid out of Maryland, number 36 ranked outside linebacker, runs pretty well for his size as well. For him, it's all going to be about effort. I'll be curious to see where he fits in on this defense moving forward. Okay, Buckeye fans, shout out your favorite player in Ohio State's 2020 class. Mine is Jaxon Smith, the wide receiver we talked about earlier. We showed a little bit of his highlight tape for you guys. He's just so dominant. I mean, when you set the Texas high school football record at any position in pretty much every category, you're doing something right. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is one of the many great receivers in this class for the Buckeyes. But let me know who your favorite player is in this class. Now, if you want to bet on the college football playoff and bet for the Buckeyes, which why wouldn't you? Ohio State's been playing so well this year. You got to do it at BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code CFB120. Bet on the Buckeyes to beat Clemson. They're 2-point underdogs against Clemson. Did Clemson play anybody this year? Associate producer Alicia, answer that question for me. I'll answer it. The answer is no. Buckeyes are coming in, ready to go. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code CFB120. Bet on the Buckeyes to win the college football playoff national championship. Let's keep it rolling with some of these players here. Mayan Williams, the 3-star running back. Now to me, he's kind of one of those lower recruits that Ryan Day found and said, hey, I can plug him into my program and he'll be just fine. He reminds me of Mike Weber in a lot of ways. Physical runner. He's not going to wow anybody on tape. Doesn't have great speed. He's in the 4.6, 4.7 range, but he bounces off wimply tacklers, can catch the ball pretty well. Mayan Williams, give him a year to bulk up a little bit more and maybe get into a little bit of better shape. He looked a little slow on tape at times. He will be just fine. Next player, Ty Hamilton, the 3-star defensive end, number 753 overall player. Still raw as a prospect, needs some time, probably a redshirt candidate as these guys toward the end here are, but I like his frame, 6'3", 240. Needs some help in the technique area, kind of a tweener as far as position goes, but Ty Hamilton's a name to keep an eye on as well. Jacob James, 3-star offensive guard. He's a redshirt guy for sure, in my opinion. Needs to put on weight. Played at, where did he play in high school? Cincinnati kid. He just needs, a lot of these guys, you see 3-star offensive linemen, they're almost always going to be redshirt candidates, especially at these major programs. Need to put on weight, need to get in the weight room. That is going to be the case for Jacob James. Then a couple of guys who are outside the top 1,000, but Ryan Day went ahead and gave him a chance. You got Troy LaRue, the offensive tackle. Then obviously kickers typically aren't going to be ranked unless they're incredibly good. Jake Seibert, the 3-star kicker there, Ohio State, shoring up the kicking position for the foreseeable future with Jake Seibert. So that rounds out your Ohio State 2020 recruiting class. 25 commits for Ryan Day, including a couple of 5-stars, which we talked about a little bit earlier. Once again, this is how the top 5 sits right now as we head into National Signing Day, early National Signing Day, which is set for this Wednesday. Clemson, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. Those top 4 are neck and neck. Any of them could end up with the number 1 class. Want to remind you guys, on Wednesday, we are going to have tons of coverage here on Chat Sports of early National Signing Day, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. And Ohio State fans specifically, it's simple. More subscribers equals more Ohio State videos. You want more Buckeyes videos, you got to subscribe to the channel. Got to subscribe today. Hit that big red button, and we'll see you next time.